Hi guys, my name is Kylie and I'm here to show you a brand new breakfast food that I think I invented somehow. It's like a biscuit, but it's flat. So I'm calling it a flitscuit. This is Honey, my puppy. She's very good, or I hope she will be. So I'll show you how to make it. It's super simple. You don't need any like measuring spoons or anything. It's awfully simple. So let's see here. What I've got here is I've got flour, I've got sugar, I've got salt, butter, canola oil, and in the fridge I've got some milk. So we're gonna go ahead and see if I can't get this camera in a good place and we can start making this thing. So first off, we're gonna decide the pan we're gonna use. We're gonna pan fry these in maybe like 1/8 to 1/4 inch of oil. You can make them in a really big pan. I'm just doing them in this little, I think 6 or 8 inch pan. So I'm just gonna put that on my burner. Where is my lighter? It's behind the sugar. The stove's been acting up. There we go. So we're just gonna preheat that on what my stove says is a 5. We're gonna pop, like I said, oh come on, there we go. I said we're gonna pop some canola oil in there just to fill the pan. Not much, I would say like maybe 1/4 cup. Again, eyeballing these measurements. You don't need to measure it. Next up, okay, I've got the milk ready. We are going to melt about 2 or 3 tablespoons of butter. I like using salted butter because I like not having to salt things. So I'm just gonna pop that in the microwave. Put it on the melt setting for the butter. That's gonna go for a minute. I'm gonna take it out 30 seconds because it's not that much butter. And next, we're gonna take the milk and maybe 1/4 cup in there. We're gonna be making a dough. It's a very simple dough. We're just gonna knead it by hand. It's gonna be very cool. I'm just going to adjust this camera just a little bit. And our butter is pretty much melted. Doesn't have to be fully melted. We just want to make sure nice and soft. Really hope you can see that. Like that. We're gonna pop in a little bit of sugar. That's probably good. And some salt, but not a lot because that's salted butter. And we're just gonna pop in the butter. And this will mix together into a nice like buttermilk kind of thingy. And we're just gonna add flour until we can knead this with our hands. So I've got the flour here. It's okay if there's a little bit of spillage. I'd say this is maybe a full cup-ish, maybe 3/4. I'm just gonna mix this up until I can get it to a consistency where I can like grab it, squish it around. So I was messing around at work. I work at a chicken restaurant. We have this seasoning flour and we had a lot of downtime. So I was like, hey, we have the ingredients here. We got flour, salt, sugar, water. I might as well make a little dough baby because we have the downtime and it would be fun. So I did that, and I did not cook it in the fryer. I took it home that night. We're gonna add a bit more flour. I took it home that night and I was like, how can I cook this that's not in the oven? Because, you know, I'm tired. I want something quick. And I was like, oh, I know. I'll pan fry it. And the idea was really good. So the next morning, I made it with regular flour instead of seasoned flour. And it was really good. I made little breakfast sandwiches. It's like, wow, this is really yummy. But I kind of want it to taste like a biscuit. So I'm gonna add some like melted butter and milk instead of water. And lo and behold, the flitscuit, as it's so aptly named. This is almost to the state where I can start grabbing it. I have a fork, because that's a bit easier. So let's say a wee bit more flour. And I'm also gonna flour my hand, just so that it doesn't stick, because it is still a little bit sticky. And I'm just gonna toss this little dough baby, squish it. It's sticking a little bit to my hands, but that's okay, because we got the flour here. Hoping that this is showing up well on camera. And all the time, our oil is preheating. So I'm just gonna like knead this, get all that flour in there, and I think even a bit more flour. You don't want it to really be sticky. It is gonna be frying in oil, so sticking to the pan is not really an issue. You just don't want it to be sticky in your hands, because you're gonna be, it's to the point now where I can grab it with my other hand and it's not sticking. So I'm just gonna knead this over itself. Maybe get some, I think what's happening is like layers of butter as I'm like squishing it out and like folding it over itself. I think that might be giving it layers of butter in there, which would be really cool. It's gonna give it that like flaky, fluffy, biscuity texture. So I'm gonna rinse these hands off with hot water, and we are about ready to fry, and that is still preheating. It's to the point now where if you put it up to your nose, it would smell like a pre-made, like a pancake mix or something that you just add milk to. That's what we're going for. I'm almost done washing my hands, and then we will get to frying. Okay, I'm gonna put this milk away because we don't need it. And we are going to drop this into the pan. Now this is hot oil, so you're gonna wanna be very careful in how you manage it. You don't wanna drop it in because that could splash hot oil everywhere. You don't want to, like, you just don't want to spill hot oil everywhere because that would suck. And I know this is probably like, oh, this is a beginner recipe. This is the part you really need to be careful of. So I'm just gonna toss this in flour just to make sure it's not sticking to my hands no more. I'm gonna get it into a vaguely roundish shape if I can. And I'm just gonna squish it out flat as much as I can. I think I'm gonna split this into two because it's a bit big. And that pan is only so big. So I'm just gonna twist that off. And we're gonna use this baby. I'm gonna flatten it out in my hands as much as I can, because I do want it to be crispy. It has a very crispy outside. Yeah, that works. I might be able to do them both at once, but no, it'll be okay. So it's like kind of stretching itself out by the weight of it. Don't let it like break. I would say this is maybe 1/3 of an inch. And we are just gonna gently drop that in. And that is immediately going to start bubbling because it's been preheated. So we're going to get a close-up on that. Just getting the extra flour off my hands. Yeah, this is going to take maybe 5 minutes to fry on each side. I like to dimple a pattern into it, just using my fork here. So I like the lines. You can see I left it a little bit too thin here, so it's kind of scrunching up and following the fork. Again, careful, hot oil, don't splash on yourself. I'm keeping this at an angle away from me, like I'm currently completely behind the camera, so that this oil is not going to splash me. And I'd say that's about good. And this is just going to sit here, and it's going to fry and get nice and golden brown. And now we wait. I'm going to take this moment to put away all my ingredients, and you guys can sit here and watch this beautiful flitscuit fry. Ooh, that's fun to say. Flitscuit fry. Cool. All right, I'll be right back. You can kind of feel, after a couple minutes, that it's like one solid mass at the bottom. That's because it's crisping up quite nicely on the bottom. I think I prefer it to be a little bit dark. Maybe the color of this wood dark, maybe a bit darker than that. Of course, the color grading on this camera is a little bit bad, so you might not be able to tell, but get it to the nice amount of get it to the brownness that you want. You can go pretty blonde on it if you want. I like it to be a little bit toasty because it's crunchy. It's crunchy. And you can see on this thin part, it's browning a bit faster. That's just because it's thin. Look at that. That is good. Nice and good. I'm gonna say a couple more minutes on that. For frying, I am using a canola oil. It's a neutral oil. You don't want to use something like olive oil, because that would mess up the taste of it. And in terms of what can you do with the flitscuit? Because I've invented it. What could you do with it? You can make breakfast sandwiches with it. You could cover it in butter and syrup like a waffle or pancake. You could put jam on it like a biscuit or an English muffin. It's a really versatile platform, and I like that. And I like that I can do multiple things with it. And of course, you could make a bunch of these on a small pan and make them smaller, actually biscuit sized of 3-4 inches or whatever. This one's about, I'd say 4-5 inches. Yeah. We're not measuring. We're not having a size contest here. It's just whatever's clever. So you can see we've got a beautiful golden brown on that. I'm gonna take this carefully with my knife and fork, and I'm gonna flip it over onto the ridge side. Again, careful, don't drop hot oil on yourself. And don't drop the camera like I just did. Give me just a moment. There we go. You can see that thin spot kind of lifted up, so it is a bit blonde there, but it's okay. But you can see this is a... Can you hear that? Nice and crispy. just like the bottom of a Hardee's or Carl's Jr.'s if you're weird biscuit. And that's kind of like the goal. I think a Hardee's biscuit is an ideal biscuit. It's like buttermilk biscuit made fresh, not sponsored, obviously. But it's my favorite kind of biscuit. It's beautifully fluffy on the inside. I just wish it was more crispy. And that's what a flitscuit is. What else can you do with a flitscuit? You could, I guess you can maybe put like chocolate chips in here if you want to do pancakey, but I don't think a flitscuit can really compete with a pancake. It's not a batter, so it would be hard to put in a bunch of little things. You can maybe do like a cheddar cheese flitscuit. I think that might turn out well. If you want like a little, you can make it really big and fold it over on itself, like a taco maybe. I guess you could maybe put things like in the middle of the dough, like a calzone. I don't know how that would turn out. That might be interesting. Like a breakfast calzone. Interesting ideas. Yeah, it takes about 5 minutes on each side, so you got plenty of time to make eggs or bacon or sausage or whatever else you want. And I think I'm gonna stop talking and just let the frying ASMR itself. I think that's about done. So I'm gonna move the camera and we'll get set here for a little plate. Oh boy, that's the 0.5 mode. Is it? No, that just might be the normal camera. Oh, anyways, got our plate here. And I'm just going to carefully get under this with a fork and flip it onto the plate. Look at that. That's a bit dark, but it's okay. We still got a good amount of oil in here, so I'm going to immediately drop down my second one. I think these blonde sparks are because the dough is too thin. So I'm just gonna try and make sure this is even. And I'm gonna try something interesting actually. Can you see the pan? No, not really. I'm gonna try using the bottom of the melted butter container to kind of press it. Wow, I just broke the camera mount. Is that fixable? Yeah, it's probably fixable. Give me just a moment. My little mount here is a little bit tenuous. It's on top of a very narrow kind of jar. I'm just using a little 3D printed tripod. That oil is fine sitting there hot. screw that in. And that should be okay. I'm gonna make these legs a bit more narrow, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. Where was I? Okay. Yes, I'm going to try taking this butter container and pressing it out. So I'm just gonna drop that in. Oh, yes, that's really good. Oh, that is getting a little bit of hot oil on my fingers, so probably don't do this. And it's actually not spreading out as much as I could, but this is what experimentation is for. That's probably good. I'm gonna set that in there. And then, yeah, why don't we look at the finished flitscuit down here. It is cooled down a bit. We have a nice crispy top, a nice bottom, and when I fold this in half, you should be able to see a nice crumb in there. And it's nice and hot. Dropping this damn thing. But that is delicious. Please don't mind the low production value. I am just a girl. Yeah, I've got this nice flaky texture. Nice and crispy. And it's yummy. I think I'm gonna smear some butter on there, because that is quite the yummy snack. Very good. Now this guy, getting pretty crispy on the bottom already. So I'm gonna quickly dimple this. You could also do crisscrosses. I like the vertical lines. It's a simple pattern, and it looks cool. There we go, that's dimpled. We're gonna try one more time with this unsteady mount. Here we go. There we go. Won't touch it. This one, ooh, that one cooked quite a bit faster, probably because the oil is hotter. So I'm just gonna turn down my burner and flip it. There we go. Yes, that looks much more even. Even if there's some spots, that's to be expected. Now that the oil is hotter, it's gonna fry quicker. I'm just gonna enjoy this. While it fries. So I plan to add a bunch of pictures on my little blog. It's not a cooking blog, it doesn't have ads or anything. It's just a little place where I write stuff about things that I like and or do. My previous spaghetti video has a little update on there, so I'll probably link that down in the description. But that will probably be a few days away. This is looking almost done, so let's get you set for the plating. This is going to be the thumbnail, so I kind of want to make sure it looks good. And it's probably, hopefully, the reason you clicked on the video. I don't think this is going to like randomly pop up in people's recommendations. If we go up here and we zoom in, yes. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Oopsies. Look at that. I'm going to turn that on just for the thumbnail. Oh, that was the wrong burner. Oops. There we go. Yeah, that's a good thumbnail. Yeah. So this is very hot. Just came out of the fryer. Butter is melting beautifully on there. It's a nice, crunchy snack. You can have it for breakfast. Or really, it's nighttime now. No one's stopping you. Except yourself. So I'm going to... Will I be able to break this? If I cut it a little bit. Oh, do you see that steam? Look at that crumb. It's looking great. And let's have a taste test. Well, I already ate the first one, so. I've got my little plate here. It's good. You should make it. And it's easy. And best of all, it's fried in oil. What else can I say? Well, I don't really know what else to say. Again, I'll have more details on my blog in a couple days, probably, because I need to write that. And, you know, Thanksgiving is around the corner. I have a pie to bake tomorrow. Apparently. But yeah, it's really nice, really yummy, and you all should try it. Thank you.